You would be surprised at how many competitors just suck. Just because you have a business doesn't mean you're good at what you're doing. If you have a ton of competition in your space, if you consistently, time over time, repeatedly offer good service, that client's gonna tell their friends or brag about it. If you do a good job in lawn care, the neighbor across the road, the two on each side, they're gonna see it. And then when you go over to say hello, now you have an opportunity to get a new client. I don't think competition is something most people should worry about. What they should worry about is consistently delivering good value.
All right, guys, welcome to the Winner Circle podcast. I'm your host, Jay Adewale, and today I'm thrilled to have you join us for an empowering conversation. How to start a profitable service business in 90 days. We are in the last day of the month, of the year, sorry. And we have 2026 around the corner, so you're thinking about setting up a business. You need to listen to this. So today we are joined by Azgari LIPSHY.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me as a guest today.
All right, you're welcome on the show. Yeah, and to introduce her properly also, she's a serial entrepreneur, a business strategist, and the founder of Azgari Foundation, based in Austin, Texas. She
Yes.
helps ambitious professional launch and scale service-based businesses through a hands-on done with you model. And that's one of the interesting part of it. Done with you model. That means she's gonna guide you, guiding clients to pick the right business, set up operations, and land paying customers. That means often within the 90 to 120 days, right?
Correct.
Yes, which is great. So
Thank
with her
you.
years of experience in entrepreneurship, business strategy, and coaching, she brings practical guidance with a deep commitment to empowerment and financial freedom. So in today's conversation, she will share a lot of information with us. A proven blueprints for quickly launching income generating businesses, the mindset shift needed for early success, an actionable strategy to build a sustainable service, not just service-based business from the ground up. So now today we're going to have a conversation with her, and I'm going to tell you the truth is she has a lot of wisdom she's going to share today, a lot of knowledge she's going to share with us today. So, but before we go into that, I want to say, can you share your journey from your first entrepreneurial experience to founding the Azgari Foundation?
Well, I started a little early, around 16 to be exact.
Wow.
Well, I blame my dad. He wouldn't give me enough lunch money for school. So I had to figure out how to buy my own first car. At the time, so my first company, just rolling it back a bit, was it was in wholesale manufacturing for supplements. I was privileged enough to have my family member, my father, who owns manufacturing factories. So I leveraged his plans to make my own line of supplement brands. And instead of selling directly to consumer, D2C, I focused in on selling to larger wholesalers. As you can tell, being 16, didn't know what I was doing. I just know I wanted to make money so that I can buy my own first car. And, my other friends had part-time jobs making $4, $5. And I was like, this is going to take a long time to buy a car. So starting my own business just made sense. But once you start seeing that type of money coming in, it's hard to go back to doing a normal job. So with that first company, I focused in on selling wholesale supplements, and 5-6 years later, sold that one, sold most majority shares, and started a garment manufacturing with a wholesale distribution right with a multinational brand called Sabina out of Thailand. That did really well, and I sold majority shares there. Long story short, after selling those two companies, I moved to the States and started multiple smaller companies. Some did well, a lot of them didn't do so well. And I would say those are the ones that I learned the most from. The last few years, I have focused in on service-based businesses, and I currently own two construction companies. One that focuses on renovations, the other one focused on commercial big box retailer painting, drywall, that arena. What I learned from my entrepreneurial journey so far is success leaves clues. There are specific ways and steps that you have to take which increase your odds of being successful. And there are absolutely things that you can do which will predictively land you with failure.
That's a great knowledge. That's a great word itself, word of marbles. So was there a defining point? Not just, most businesses don't do this, especially, consultant don't do that. They will just help you, give you paperwork and say, you know what, get busy yourself. I'm not going to be the one getting you clients and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I've started so many different things. Some of them, 6 figures, 7 figures. But to get to those 6 figures, 7 figures, and you know this as well, it's not easy, right? Right? Your elbow is connected to everything is connected. So not having that support where someone is helping connect all the dots, it made a world of a difference for me, especially, with companies that I launched with mentors and coaches that had a lot more experience than me in that particular industry, as opposed to when I try to do something on my own. A lot of times when you're doing things for the first time by yourself, you're going around in circles chasing your own tail. So I got to a point where, my circle, my close friends, family, everybody knows that I've started so many things. So they started coming to me for advice. And I got to a point where, between running my own businesses and helping others, I just didn't have the time bandwidth. And this is about 3.5 years ago. A friend of mine, she asked me for help. She wanted to start a home healthcare agency. And I just didn't have the time to walk her through the amount of compliance and documentation that she would need to have. So I told her, I'm like, hey, I don't have the time to help you. You need to go to ABC, these, different organizations that can help you. She said, what would it take for me to get you to help me? I threw a number at her and she was very grateful. From there, she referred another friend. And long story short, fast forward 3 years later, the level of personal satisfaction that I get from being in a position where, working with someone just 90 days, 120 days, and then a 1 year, once a year passes, seeing where they were stuck, right? Maybe doing a job as a bank manager or even being a director of a company, but really unsatisfied with life, to now being a business owner and the problems we're discussing is, okay, we need to scale, we need to hire more. It's just so satisfying. It is wildly satisfying. And I would say that's how the concept came about, from my own understanding of everything that you need when you're launching a business. It's so methodical, right? There's so many things that have to be done the right way at the right sequence at the right time. Without that guidance, people end up wasting years trying to figure it out by themselves. Being in a position to help with that is very satisfying for me. That's why I do what I do. Does that answer your question? I know that
Yeah.
was kind of long-winded.
Of course it does. It does.
Okay.
So, but now, if I have to do a follow-up with that, how would you say it differs from the traditional consulting or coaching approaches that we have everywhere?
So I'll give you a real life example. One of our new clients that signed up with us 2 months ago. He's a director, does very well, but he recently just went through a divorce and he realized that now that he's coming up to being 40, his salary is pretty capped at what he's doing, right? So if he wants to have the type of life that he wants to live, right, where he's highly comfortable, can retire comfortably, that's not going to happen from his job. Like, he's going to need to probably work till he's 65, 70 to, be able to achieve that. Whereas if he launched a business, he would be able to do that in less than 4 or 5 years. Um, so now, fast forward 2 months later, actually yesterday we finished developing his brand, and now we're working with him with our internal team to do sales outreach, to start getting a pipeline of prospects ready. So I would say that is the biggest difference, right? Other consultants or coaches are going to tell you what to do, and then you have to go figure it out. We don't tell you what to do. We do it with you, and then a lot of it, we just do it for you. It's kind of like if you took Wolfgang Puck's cooking book and you read the book, inside out, you watched all his YouTube videos on how to cook, and then your recipe doesn't come out the same as his. Does that make any sense? That correlation where just because someone's teaching and coaching you what to do doesn't mean you're going to get the same result. So for me to ensure that a client gets the type of results that I want them to have, we get our hands dirty. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's a very nice approach. It's very interesting what you're doing. What? Yeah. So you're welcome. So, but looking at different kind of, business model, what made service-based business particularly suitable for, first-time entrepreneurs?
There's all service businesses, majority of them, specifically the 50 that we outline, and for the most part, stick with. 2 reasons. One, they are highly preferred by small business administration loans, right? Because one of the biggest reasons people don't get into entrepreneurship is money. They don't have enough of it to launch and have enough burn rate to last the first year. So making sure businesses that we select are able to get loans for startups. That's one of the reasons for service business space. Second is how simple they are. With let's say, for example, a painting company, if you're doing exterior painting in most states, the lowest average is between $3,000 and $7,000 to paint an exterior. And it's pretty simple and straightforward, right? You have one technician going out, doing the estimate, giving the estimate to the customer saying yes or no. If they say yes, you send a painter, they do the job, you get paid almost immediately, and you're done. Super simple. Anybody can do it. Even if you don't know anything about painting, if you understand management, which...
Hey, Readiness, have you got a business or brand that deserves to shine? I'm just saying this right now because I'm giving the opportunity for you to advertise on Winner Circle with Jay and connect with thousands of ambitious entrepreneurs and leaders who are about growth. It's all about growth. So whether you are advertising a product or a service, secure your slot as low as $100. So what are you waiting for? Email us at advert@winnercirclewithj.com. Here at Winner Circle with Jay, we just don't talk success, we create success. All right, see you soon.
That's also the part that we help with. I can start a company for you. Does that make sense?
How do you guide clients in picking the right service-based business for them? What are the things you look? What are the criteria you look?
So the first thing we do is sit down with the person, right? As soon as someone onboards and becomes a client, the first thing I do, and I always do this myself, I don't let the team do onboarding calls, just sit down and understand this human, right? Because everybody has a very different underlying reason as to why they want to become an entrepreneur. And the type of business you select has to meet that underlying core desire or purpose. So I'll give you a real life example, and I think that'll make things a little more clear. I have a client now. She also signed up, I think a month ago now, brand new. She's 70 years old. She still is. She's a high power executive in the procurement sector for the last 35 years. She's getting ready to retire. She wants a business of her own that she can do into her retirement and then leave it to her grandson. So when we're having that conversation on that first call, it tells me she wants a legacy, right? That's what she's really looking for. At the core of it, she's looking for something that she will be remembered for by the people that she loves, and that's going to empower and make their lives better, right? If I didn't have that conversation with her, I wouldn't know that, right? That's what the underlying reasoning is. Then going into her deep expertise, she's built a 35-year career in procurement. So the company that we're launching for her is in HOA procurement. So large HOAs with over 160 households usually need an insane amount of compliance and risk mitigation work. So because her expertise is in that field, that is the company we're starting for her. Would I make that suggestion for someone else? No. It's highly customized to this person. Does that make sense as to how we, I guess, give you like a high level idea how we pick?
Yes, of
Okay.
course. So if you look at it now, you also mentioned, I was going to talk about it. You mentioned the 90 days, 90 to 120 days done with you. If you look at the timeline, it's a very good timeline. But in practice, do you guys get confined in the 90 to 120 days? Do you, if there need to be extension, do you still do your extension, or you just say, okay, everything must be done between 90 to 120 days? Do you get confined in that?
Right? Because especially if we're going with Small Business Administration, SBA funding, before on average it was like 30 days. But with recent government shutdowns in certain areas, it could take up to 90 days. So that timeline between if the loan disbursement takes 30 to 90 days, we don't have control over. What we do have control over is how soon we start reaching out to prospective clients. Does that make sense? So we do everything from our end in terms of the legal formation of the company, the accounting, the finance, marketing, recruitment of the sales team. Everything else that we have control over, we start and implement immediately. And then depending on the client, right? Some people have the budget where, hey, I have 50 grand additional and we can go and deploy and start hiring the team, onboarding the administrative and software costs that's going to get incurred, the marketing, we can do this. We don't have to wait till the loan comes in. For them, it's faster for obvious reasons. But then we have clients who are like, wait, anything that's going to be an ongoing monthly expense or hiring, let's wait till the loan money comes in. So for them, it's a bit longer because if the loan doesn't come in, then we kind of just focus on sales and prospecting ourselves in-house rather than hiring a team that would incur, salary. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's on track. It's on track. So now, yes, moving forward a little bit, let's talk about the operational step itself. For you, for this, for this steps to, the operational steps for the service-based, done with you. What are the tools or systems you recommend for service-based business to streamline the operations?
Tools, software, right? So taking on administrative, accounting, maybe even some portions of sales and scheduling.
That's great. So another thing that I know, pricing. So how do you?
So it also, that leans on the client as well. With her 35 years of industry specific experience, we're positioning her as an authority and more on the higher end of the market average, right? Which makes sense. We have an industry standard of that particular city, of what other competitors are charging. And based on that, we're offering a little slightly lower to launch in the market.
From your experience, what mistakes should new entrepreneurs avoid when setting their rates? Because a lot of people, they start with a smaller rate and hoping they can increase it later. What mistake would you tell them to avoid?
If you don't have something like that, you don't want to price yourself as the most expensive just yet, but you also never want to be the bottom of the barrel.
So now let's look at the strategies. We want to focus on the next stage of the segment will focuses on, landing customers and marketing, because every businesses need that to grow and scale.
Yep.
So what strategies do you teach clients to attract their first paying customer quickly?
So usually the first 5, 10, 20 clients we're acquiring in-house. So depending on the industry, we're either running paid ads or we're doing physical business development outreach, one or the other, or both in some cases. And as we're doing that, we're also teaching the business owner. And if they already have a staff that we've onboarded, we're teaching them both. The reason we teach the business owner is not because we want the business owner to take over that role, but so that they also understand what metrics and KPIs to hold their sales staff accountable for going forward.
All right. That makes perfect sense with me. And also, I believe my listeners love that too. So, but there's difference between getting clients through marketing. That means they come in as a lead. How do you help them integrate them into becoming a loyal client? Because they can buy one and never show up again.
Well, that's the other reason why we like service businesses, because most of the service business models are recurring, right? You're not going to clean your house one time. You're probably going to need it cleaned every week or bi-weekly or monthly. Even if it's, how would I say? So even in the compliance industries or even staffing, right? We have another client we're launching in staffing, specialized in healthcare. It's never that they just hire one LPN or one CNA and they're done. They're constantly coming back to you. So as long as you keep providing good service, actually, here's what you need to do. You need to find all of your competitors in your local market and find out all the ways by reading the reviews, going into Reddit, of all the ways they've disappointed clients. And then just do those things great. That's how you get loyal clients. You provide better service than everybody else in the market.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. I always say this thing. It's always good to have when you're in the service-based business, it's always good to have trust from people and also becoming an authority in that field. Do you also help your clients become an authority in their field?
Depending on their personal preference. Currently have another client. He's an executive at a very large multinational bank, and he can't have his face or name attached to the new business that we're opening. Not yet, at least, not for a year probably. So even though I would love to turn him into an authority because he has so much experience, we're just not going there. But then we have other clients who are perfectly happy being on camera and becoming that authority figure. We do create entire brand stories, the hero's journey, entire marketing and social media strategy around turning them into an authority in their local space.
All right. A lot of new businesses, if you look at it, we often get overshadowed by competitions. Well, this person is doing this way. I want to tweak it into something closer to what he's doing. So for you, when you're coaching most of your clients, how do you recommend handling competition to them? And if you also look at it, a follow-up question, how can they differentiate themselves without copying others?
You would be surprised at how many competitors just suck. Just because you have a business doesn't mean you're good at what you're doing, right? That's why competition's never a bad thing. There are very few people who can deliver good service or good product. So being very mindful of what you offer from the beginning, right? Don't offer more than you can handle or deliver on. It's always under promise and over deliver to delight your clients. Even if you have a ton of competition in your space, if you consistently, time over time, repeatedly offer good service, that client's gonna tell their friends or brag about it, right? If you do a good job in lawn care, the neighbor across the road, the two on each side, they're gonna see it. And then when you go over to say hello, now you have an opportunity to get a new client. I don't think competition is something most people should worry about. What they should worry about is consistently delivering good value.
Value is very important. We all know that. But the
But
thing,
yeah,
okay, please go ahead.
people get very bogged down with, okay, there's all this competition, all these different companies doing the same thing I am. But when you double click into them, most of them aren't really doing a good job. They have people that don't show up, they have people that are being ghosted. When you consistently do a better job, they're going to talk about you. It might not be immediately, right? You might not see clients the next month, but the types of businesses, the types of service businesses we're talking about, they're not things that you just start, make money, and leave. These are things that are you're either going to hand off to your family member, when you're ready to retire, or you're going to sell in 5-10 years for several millions. So consistently providing good service will bring you more clients. Don't worry about competition.
So just keep doing what you know how to do best, and at the right time, everything is going to work out for you. So, but
As
now,
long as, yeah.
yeah, so I look at what you talked about that you help the businesses within 90 to 120 days. I know it's a great thing, but it's what they call the post service. Now, once you're done, you've helped them with everything. Now it's their job to scale their business beyond the first 90 to 120 days. How do you teach them to be able to do
So
that? And what are the most common pitfalls at this stage?
So depending on which investment level they engage with us, we have the 90 to 100-day package where we help them launch, and then every bi-weekly we're getting on calls with them to make sure the business owner and the team that we've trained and placed in the company is performing and meeting metrics and KPI. But if they engage with us for a full 1 year, then we stay as part of the management team. The business owner is pretty hands off. Most of our clients have pretty high paying 9 to 5 jobs that they don't leave. And we continue running their entire operations, managing their team for the whole entire first year.
That's a great thing. I love that idea. So now also we all know financial freedom is a key focus of your own coaching. From we research about how do you guide entrepreneurs to manage cash flow, because it's very, very important. Cash flow and profitability in the early stage is very important. So do you
Yes.
also recommend them reinvesting the profit they make, or do you prefer them building a savings first? Which one would you say?
So most of our clients that engage with us for the launch, the 90 to 20-day or the full 1 year package, one of the first conversations we have to even evaluate if we're going to take them on as a client is their ability to launch the company with enough funding that's going to have enough run rate for at least 12 to 18 months, along with the investment required to do the launch. So making sure they're launching with enough money in hand is super important. And that's why we also help with the funding stage, right? Getting them either an SBA loan or smart financing or something like that. So once we secure that they have funding before we start, the second stage is not letting them just invest in a bunch of random things, because first time entrepreneurs, they get super spending happy in the beginning. I'm sure you know this. Like, oh, I need to spend $5,000 on this type of marketing or this type of software for the whole year. I need to get it up front. So I think the first month, my job is basically being like a wrangler, like just wrangle them in to stick with the plan of what products and services we're going to invest in, and focusing on staying extremely lean, right? For example, we don't hire a staff immediately. We go ahead and do the sales outreach and prospect and pipeline building before we hire someone. That way, that person is more likely to be able to close deals and pay for their own salary the first month, making sure we're not pulling that from cash from the business, or even pulling that from the loan that we've taken out as being, for security.
All right, thank you so much for sharing that. It's been a very interesting conversation, and I have a lot of things I really want to learn, and For the listeners, December 17th, 2025, which is going to be a few days' time, she's going to be speaking at the webinar, the Winner Circle webinar. So if you want to learn more how you can navigate in 2026, you need to be at the webinar. It's very, very important. You need to subscribe and follow the Winner Circle to be able to listen to the show. It's very, very important for you to know how you can navigate in 2026. And that's what she's sharing. That's what she's sharing. She's sharing it on a platter. All right. So let's do a closing reflection. For you, how important is community or mentorship in the journey of a new entrepreneur? Because a lot of entrepreneurs just believe that, you know what, I can just start myself. I don't need no guidance.
So for that, I have two things to say. One, I'm sure you've heard of the saying, like, walking over dollars to save pennies. Entrepreneurs who never done this before, wanting to do it the first time, I think that statement applies. And the second thing is, just remember, Tiger Woods has a coach. The best of the best in the world, in business, in sports, in anything and everything, have someone guiding them. Maybe you should learn something from that. There's a reason. You cut out so much time and pain and headache when you have someone who's done it 10 times, can see 20 steps ahead of you, which it doesn't mean that you're not capable. It just means you haven't had the experience or practice that muscle. So if you want to get to your destination faster, get someone who's done it.
Hey, winners, as we continue our journey together today, I want to share something truly special with you. Over the years, I've had the privilege of coaching countless business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, guiding them to achieve breakthrough results and unlocking their full potential. So I'm opening up just 4 slots for my monthly business coaching program. That's right, 4 slots. After being fully booked for the past 3 years, if you're ready to elevate your business with personalized guidance, proven strategy, and a supportive community, I'm here to help you navigate challenges, refine your vision, and achieve your goals. So if you're committed to taking your business to the next level, I want to hear from you. Reach out to me directly at jay@winnercirclewithj.com and discuss how we can work together to build the future your business deserves. So don't wait. This is your moment. Join Winner Circle and let's embark on this transformative journey towards success together. And now let's dive back into today's episode.
Before.
Very interesting. The fact that you just dropped a very powerful quote, a word on marble, saying Tiger Woods as a coach. If you look at it, Beyonce as a coach, voice coach, Beyonce. So it's very, very interesting to get to know this, So you mean that's the importance of a coach, especially when you're navigating the tough world of entrepreneurship. So you don't have to go through stress trying to navigate around. She has done it, been there, done that. So she makes it the job easier for you. So look at what is the single most important lesson you share with someone ready to start their own service business today? Maybe somebody is ready to start right now.
Start. Even if you have no clue what, how, where, start. Make that decision. It's the end of this year. If you don't make that decision, you're going to be listening to another one of these podcasts next year. And, I'll probably be again on the Winner Circle talking about the 50 people who did listen to this webinar and now have their own companies, and you don't. So
don't.
Start.
Start.
Take a bet on yourself and start. You don't have to know everything, but I think when you make a decision and you're firm on it, the universe sends you everything. And you keep falling forward and it works out. And if it doesn't work out, you learn so much that you excel at the next thing that you do.
The word is fail forward. And the last question I have for you today is, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice before launching the Azgari Foundation, what would it be?
Start early. I wish I had started maybe 10 years ago.
So it all points to start now, start early. So you wait till tomorrow, you're losing a lot.
I
So
mean,
for
think
somebody
of it.
okay, please go ahead.
Sorry, please. So, okay, think about it this way. Even if you fail, right? Worst case scenario, your business doesn't do well, which is hard when you have actually professionals doing it. But let's say you do it yourself and it fails. When you're in your deathbed, you're not going to sit there and say, God, I wish I did more overtime at my job. I wish I, retired later and kept working more 40, 60, 80 hours for somebody else. You're going to sit there and regret that you didn't try. But you're never going to say, regret the fact that I tried and failed. You'll be proud of yourself for trying.
Wow. Words on marble. I always say that word. So thank you so much. It's been an interesting conversation with you today. And for people that want to get started and they said, okay, you know what, how do I reach out to you? How best can they reach out to you?
Azgari.com.
You heard it. Just go to the website and get started. Now, today, the podcast, I want to say, start now, start early. Those are the three words for today. That, just make sure webinar, guys. All right. So thank you so much.